Hey, Doug.
Hey guys, hi Daniel.
Hey.
How are you?
Hanging in there. It's hot out there today, but we're good.
Yeah, okay. Well, we won't take much of your time. We appreciate you joining us. Jeff, we all good on your end?
Yeah, Doug, we're good to go.
Okay. Well, we'd like to welcome the defending champion of the Charles Schwab Challenge, Daniel Berger. Daniel, thanks for joining us. If I could take you back just a little bit over a year, after a couple months off, no tournament play, you're looking forward to the Charles Schwab Challenge. What was your mindset? What kind of expectations, hopes did you realistically have on yourself coming into the week?
Yeah, I had played a bunch of golf kind of in that pandemic time just because Florida was one of the few states that had kind of opened up before, other states ended up doing that. But I'd played a ton of golf in that off time, so I felt good about my golf game. But obviously, it was one of the strongest fields of the year last year, so you had to play against some of the best in the world. So, I knew my game was sharp. I had played some good tournaments leading up. Obviously, I played another good round at the Players before that got canceled. So, was feeling good. It's just you never know how your golf game is going to be after taking 2 or 3 months off competitively. So, obviously, it was a huge setup for me for my entire year, and then leading into 2021 was a big momentum change for me.
Yeah, you went here, and then if I look correctly, you went on and had top three finishes, and I think two of your next three starts after this week. So you really obviously came back strong. If we jumping ahead to this year, five top 10 finishes, highlighted by your win at Pebble Beach, obviously, and most recent top 10 just a couple weeks ago down the road at TPC Craig Ranch. Are you still kind of able to maybe take a little bit of that Texas magic and turn it around here this week?
Yeah, I've played well in Texas, which is really nice. But I mean, the PGA Championship kind of kicked my butt a little bit there. It was a rough week, so I'm just looking forward to getting back to a course that I've played well on in the past, and a place where you know what to expect. I think it's not going to be 20, 25 under par that wins this tournament unless we get a ton of rain in the coming days. But I like the type of course that it is, where you have to maneuver your way around the course and hit a bunch of little chippy shots here and there. And it's a real field player's golf course, in my opinion. And I'm looking forward to the challenge. It's great to be back in a place that you've had success.
I know you have had a chance to see the course, and you touched on it. Is it in as good a shape, everything that you had hoped, minus the wet conditions?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was tough. I know that the areas had a ton of rain in the last couple weeks, and yesterday we weren't even able to get out on the course until about 4 o'clock because of the weather. So, I mean, the grounds crew's done an amazing job to get it to where it is right now, and I just expect it to get better as the sun comes out and dries out some of these water spots. But overall, it's just as I remembered it.
Okay, and just a last couple of questions, and we'll cut you loose. I know you got a lot going on. What are you most confident? What are you most comfortable with? What part of your game you feel like is serving you best coming into the week?
Well, I think this is a course that you have to really drive the ball well out here. There's a lot of dog legs, and you have to, place the ball in the right spot of the fairway. And I think that's what was a big key for me last year. So I just need to continue to drive the ball well, and make a few putts here and there, and take advantage of the holes that are birdieable, and then it'll be a good week.
Okay, and it looks like I've just got two more questions for you. Just your schedule coming up. What are you looking forward to coming up after this week?
Yeah, I know I'm definitely playing in the U.S. Open at Torrey Pines, which is in a couple weeks, and then potentially Memorial. Just got to see how I feel. 4 weeks in a row is a lot of golf for me, but I don't like to take a ton of time off before these majors, so it's kind of touch and go at this moment. But maybe next week, and then week off, and then Torrey Pines.
Okay, all right. I've got one more, and then we've got one question coming in. Interesting pairing this week for the first couple of rounds. How excited are you to be playing with Jordan and Phil?
Yeah, I mean, listen, I love playing with Phil. I love playing with Jordan. Obviously, Phil is going to be riding a huge wave of confidence after, playing well and winning, a major championship last week. And, I expect the crowds to be huge. And obviously with Jordan being, a Texas boy, and, being a local favorite here, I mean, it's just going to be a great experience. I love those pairings. I love to have the crowds out there. It's going to be a completely contrasting environment than it was to last year, where we didn't have the fans. So I just look forward to it. I think it's going to be a great week.
Okay, and we've got a question from Stephen Hawkins. Stephen, you there? Go ahead.
Okay, I'm here. I mean, you mentioned the pairing. Talk about how impressive is it what Phil just pulled off? And I mean, obviously, I think some people were surprised he still came this week, but just talk about the impressiveness of what he did at age 50.
I mean, listen, I mean, regardless of the age, I mean, just to win a major championship is so incredibly challenging. And, I think he's won 6 now, and you just had to be so on your game last week. It was such a challenging course. And, especially with a guy like Brooks kind of breathing down his neck, who's proven that he can, close out those big events. It must have been very unnerving even for, a guy like Phil who's won however many times he's won. So, and you could see the emotion on his face as he was coming down the 8th hole with all the fans around him, really taking a lot of deep breaths, just trying to calm himself down. I could only imagine kind of what those range of emotions he was feeling. But, it's just, I think it's great for the game of golf to see Phil do that. And, he's going to, like I said, he's going to be riding a big, wave of confidence coming into this week. I know he'll be exhausted after everything that happened last week, but I expect him to, come out here and play well again.
And again, we talked about a minute ago, coming here, winning after the long break for the tour. Here we are back to where it all returned and everything got started again. Did things go back to normal a bit? And how does this last year, how do you put in the words what it's been like? It's been a crazy full year.
Yeah, it has been a crazy year. I think, the PGA Tour has done a fantastic job kind of navigating us through, such a difficult time in the world, and really allowing us to do what we want to do, and that's go out there and play against the best golfers in the world. And they've set us up for that. And, Jay's done an amazing job, Jay Monahan. But it does feel a little bit like we are back to normal. Obviously, everyone's starting to get the vaccines. The testing procedures are working. So it's nice to feel a bit of normalcy in a year and a half stretch that has been anything but normal.
All right, Daniel. Thank you.
You got it.
Okay, we'll finish up with Adam Schupack with Golf Week. Adam.
Hey, Daniel.
Hey.
This is the 75th anniversary of the tournament, and I'm just wondering, 25 years from now, when it's the 100th, how do you think, what would be the one moment that you think you'll probably tell your kids about and say, like, this is how I won the Charles Schwab Challenge?
For me, it would probably be the shot that I hit into the 18th hole to, set up the birdie putt that, I ended up making to force that playoff. But, it was pretty surreal, walking on property on Tuesday and seeing my name on that champions wall, and looking at the previous winners who have won it, the Arnold Palmer, Jack Nicklaus, Ben Hogan 4 or 5 times. I mean, just to be associated or to be on the same list as a past champion, as guys like that, you just, there's no really way to describe it other than it's just freaking cool. So just excited to get back out here this week and try to do it again.
I was looking at your stats a little bit. You were so good with your short game last year, but you seem to have been slumping a little bit with that. What do you attribute that to, and how are you working on that?
Yeah, I think when I look at because I do look at the stats, quite often, I think the strokes gained around the greens can be, slightly misleading, because I'm still getting up and down, 60-something% of the time, which I think last year I led the tour in scrambling, and I think I was at maybe 65%. So it is a little bit down from where I was last year, but I think that's 1 or 2 weeks of good chipping and putting that'll change that. And I've had good weeks and I've had bad weeks. It's just more about being consistent and doing it day in and day out, which I think has been the difference.
What's the one thing you feel you need to do in your game to get to the next level of major championships and the like?
I think honestly it comes probably more down to experience. I've played in a decent amount of majors, but the guys that I feel like show up every single week, they've got a game plan that allows them to play well on all these different courses that may not suit their game. And for a guy like me, last week wasn't ideal. I mean, there's a lot of draw shape holes, and I'm a cutter of the golf ball, and so you have to find ways to navigate that. And I think that I'm just continuing to get better at that and figuring out what I need to do in preparation to play my best golf. And when you look at guys like Brooks, he's clearly got that dialed in, because every time he shows up, it seems like he has a chance to win. So I feel like it's more about the preparation than it is anything else.
Do you have a favorite Phil story you like to tell?
There's a lot of good Phil stories. You know, I think that, you know, the stuff that comes to mind the most for me is probably the President's Cup, just being around him, because it's such an intimate environment where, you know, there's 12 guys and a couple captains, and they're like your brothers for, you know, a whole week, which you don't really get to experience. So you kind of learn about guys more so than you would in a regular golf tournament or just playing with them in general. So I would say he is one of the most competitive human beings I've ever been around, whether it's ping pong or it doesn't matter what it is. He just wants to win, and it's just fun to be around people like that. I like being around people that try to bring you up.
All right, thanks.
You got it.
All right. Well, Daniel, short and sweet. We appreciate your time. Best of luck.
All right, thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Okay, close that out.